Let's bring in Marcia Kramer and also our analyst to talk a little bit more about the race in New Jersey. If we can also put up the latest results there for the governor's race between Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli, just so that we can see what the polls are, or rather what the results are leading here. But we know that Mikey Sherrill has been leading in the polls from the very beginning, but we did show that Jack Ciattarelli was gaining ground. What are you looking at here, Marcia?
Actually, what I'm looking at is the same thing as my friend Mr. Polanco is going to look at, and that is the independent voters. Because New Jersey is unlike other states in that they're pretty evenly divided in terms of Democrat, Republican, and independent voters. And the key here is going to be what the independent voters decide to do, whether they decide to go with Jack Ciattarelli or Mikey Sherrill. What do you say about that?
I think the independent voters were looking at this race and were thinking about how high the taxes are in New Jersey. But there's something looming, and this the federal shutdown. The federal shutdown just before election hurt Jack Ciattarelli in this campaign. He was riding high. He was supposed to pull this off if you look at the pattern of New Jersey gubernatorial elections. And something else I wanted to highlight.
Explain that for our viewers when you say look at the pattern.
The pattern has always been that New Jersey never elects someone of the same party for 3 consecutive terms. This would have been the first time since 1969.
1960.
1960, my goodness. So that would have been remarkable. So if you look at that pattern since 1960, it should have been Jack Ciattarelli. But one thing I wanted to note before we move on is that most of the Republicans that do win in New Jersey are moderate liberal Republicans. If you take a look at the history of New Jersey Republicans that do get elected, having Jack Ciattarelli embrace the MAGA brand in New Jersey, I don't know if it helped them so much with independent voters, even though President Trump got a lot more support from New Jersey than anywhere else.
But what did help him, just for the record, was that his son, Jake, who is a captain in the Army and came back from Kuwait to help campaign the last few days, that did help him get out the vote, I think.
But let's talk about Trump's, the past presidential election. He gained a lot of ground in New Jersey. So if we look at the results here tonight and we see that Mikey Sherrill ends up winning this race, how does that, what does that say about the Trump presidency?
Absolutely. The problem and Achilles heel for Jack Ciattarelli is, quite frankly, Donald Trump's numbers in New Jersey, like in many of these northeastern states, are in the basement or the sub-basement, depending on the day. So the reality here is that in any other year, or if there was a Democrat in the White House, Ciattarelli might have had more of a shot. But you're right. In 2024, Kamala Harris won the state by 6 points. In 2020, when Biden beat Trump for the presidency, Biden won New Jersey by 14 points. So let's say New Jersey has a lean plus 10 Democrat advantage on average. Mikey Sherrill did just enough. We will see what her overall margin is. If it is a double-digit win, it really means it's a referendum on Donald Trump, and that might spell trouble for the Republicans in 2026.
But here's another point that you have to take a look at, and that is this. If you're a voter and you're looking at enlightened self-interest, as I call it, and you know that there's a president who has vowed to go after Democrats, you might say, gee, it might be better off for New Jersey to have a Republican governor to deal with the Republican president. I don't know whether that's a calculus here, but if I was a voter, I'd be thinking about that.
Well, I just keep thinking back at the last election when Ciattarelli ran and he only lost by 3 percentage points. Right. So it was a very, very close race.
One thing I'll say very briefly is that when Donald Trump is president, it supercharges Democratic turnout. We saw this in 2018, the first midterms, where Democrats won over 60 House seats, taking back to House representatives. Right now, it looks like the New Jersey governor's race is trending towards upwards of 3 million turnout. Democrats are always energized when Donald Trump is in office. They fight less over the so-called moderate versus progressive labeling, at least in a state like New Jersey.
I wholly disagree. We saw Congresswoman Sherrill did nothing about Assemblyman Mamdani running for mayor in New York City. She avoided him like the plague because she understood that being centrist in New Jersey wins. Had she not viewed it that way, Tripp, she would have endorsed the Assemblyman.
Respectfully, Phil Murphy in 2017 actually ran as a fairly liberal, somewhat progressive candidate. New Jersey is New Jersey. New York City, totally different brand of politics.
All right, folks.